In this video, I provide insight on how I like to photograph and edit coins. To begin, one needs a small table. I suggest a sheet of plain paper to provide a background for the image. One will need to position the tripod where the corner of the table is between the legs of the tripod, as shown. I begin with the tripod extended all the way and use my 18-200mm zoom lens at the widest aperture. This is essential as the zoom provides a shallower depth of field. A ring light allows for even illumination of the coin. Here is how it looks mounted on the camera. One thing to note is where the groove along the ball head of the tripod is, so that the camera can be set vertically down perpendicular to the surface of the coin. With the tripod extended, the coin is occupying a small area in the field of view. One can then move the neck of the camera down to where the coin fills up a larger area in the field of view. While this allows the coin to fill up more of the area of the image, there are still a few issues. First, it could fill up more of the field of view, and second, with the zoom extended all the way, the lens is too close to the coin to get it in focus. One needs to also make sure the coin is centered in the frame so that the lights from the ring light are reflecting away from the coin and not where the coin is. This is where a lens extender comes into play. Since the silver dollar being photographed is a larger sized coin, all that is needed are the two rings on the ends which attach to the lens and the camera. This is what it looks like mounted to the camera and how the lens looks extended all the way. The next step is to adjust the ring light to make sure it is set on the light mode rather than the flash mode. Also, one needs to adjust the light intensity accordingly. With my ring light, the lowest setting works just fine, as the brighter settings will bleach out the surface of the coin unless one increases the f-stop to reduce the aperture. Now the coin can be centered in the frame, occupying as much of the field of view as possible, and also be in focus. One needs to make sure that the top and bottom edges of the coin are still in the frame so that the coin isn't cropped. To photograph the other side of the coin, very little adjustment, if any, will be needed. Sometimes the coins will be suspended in their holder as shown. If one has a clear holder, it can be relatively easy to conceal it as long as it is only covering the extreme edge of the coin. Also, one needs to make sure the reflection from the lights are not directly over the surface of the coin. Here is what a Morgan dollar looks like through the camera. A $20 gold piece is slightly smaller than the Morgan dollar. Looking at the reverse of the coin, one can see the reflection of the lights off to the side and it is not interfering with the surface of the coin. However, one can get the coin to fill up more of the frame by adding an extra ring to the macro lens extender. I used the smallest one due to the small size difference between the two coins. Now the coin is filling up more of the frame. It is important to fill up the frame since one gets a larger image of the coin. One can always scale down to improve image quality, but one cannot scale up. Notice the scratch on the plastic holder that the coin is in. By adding an extra ring, one reduces the depth of field a little more to help hide the scratch a little, although it will still show. There are a few notes to remember when taking a photograph of coins. First, it is recommended to always use the widest aperture of the lens. Using a longer lens will help minimize the depth of field to help hide scratches on the holder. Have the coin fill up as much of the area in the photo as possible without being cropped. Make sure the light source isn't too intense so that it doesn't bleach out the image. Always use the 2-second timer when taking the photograph to prevent lens shake and blurry images. Avoid photographing a coin in a 2x2 holder or a vinyl flip, as there will be too much reflection to prevent taking a good photograph. Once one has taken a photograph of the coin, one needs to process the image. Here is an unprocessed image of the reverse of a buffalo nickel. Using Lightroom, one can adjust the exposure, saturation, contrast, and even do a lens profile correction. Also, it is a good time to adjust the angle of the coin so that it looks perfectly horizontal. I usually will export the image from Lightroom as a TIFF file and then white balance in GIMP using the Levels tool. The round selection tool is useful at cropping the image to isolate it against a white background. One, however, needs to make sure that the coin is cropped properly. In this example, the edges of the coin are not consistent as some areas are cropped too close and other areas are cropped wider. Once one has taken care to have the selection aligned properly, the coin can be cropped to where the edges are more consistent. Some grading companies such as NGC use white holders. Moreover, the part of the holder in contact with the coins can obscure portions of the rim to where they will still appear when cropped. While this is not the main reason why I dislike NGC holders, it sure does pose a hindrance at getting a great image of a coin certified by them. After the coin has been isolated against a white background, one can see that the edges are too sharp and not blending well. I correct this with the fill tool, and I generally do this and color it as it produces wonderful results. When one needs to edit a photo of a coin that is really tight in the field of view, it is not a good idea to use the lens profile correction feature in Lightroom. If one were to use that feature, it could crop the top or bottom edges of the coin. Sometimes the edges may exhibit some unwanted colors that were not eliminated when one selects the Eliminate Chromatic Aberration feature. This uncertified bust $50 was photographed against a white sheet of paper, and the edge on the right, as well as near the bust, and the bottom of the hair appear a little bluish. In this case, one can adjust the blue color level. While the difference is very subtle, it is an improvement of the overall look. Adjusting the vibrance can enhance the appearance of toning on the coin. While this dollar looks stunning without increasing the vibrance, it is actually a little bit bland. Notice the overall improvement of the image by adjusting the vibrance in Lightroom. So here are a few key points when editing a photograph of a coin. Make sure that the lens profile correction doesn't crop the coin. After adjusting the raw photo, export the image in the TIFF format to make cropping adjustments, etc. Save the edited file in TIFF in case you have to make any additional changes, and then you can export the final image in JPEG or PNG to upload it to the internet and show it off to your friends. Here are a few coins I photographed using the methods demonstrated. Enjoy! Thanks for watching.